Hi everyone. Today I'm going to be reflecting on a project that I did summer of 2022 called Kung Fu Cops. It was a short film that was a proof of concept for an eventual feature. For the short film, I was tasked with creating a mini model that was going to be exploded at the end of a crime-filled 80s inspired montage. The production designer was Jonathan Trujillo, so I only did the mini model for the short film. And for the proof of concept, I was going to be the prop master. So immediately when I was pitched this project, I was very interested because a career interest of mine is working in a museum setting, creating dioramas and mini models. I said yes immediately, no matter what the script was, no matter what the idea was. I was just really excited to be able to create models, not just for myself, but for a project. A model with a purpose was very interesting to me. So after the pitch, I began to research architectural inspirations, structure inspirations. I was given 2 months to create this model from idea to completion. So I wanted something that was simple but still visually interesting. And one thing that I particularly liked about the Fisher Body plant, this is located in Detroit, Michigan, is the red brick that began to wear through the white paint. I was really, drawn in by that detail. And you can't really see, but there's graffiti along the bottom edge of the building. I was also super interested in that. So I sent these pictures over to the producer and he looked them over with the director and they decided they liked the structure. So from that point on, I moved from the research portion of the project to the pre-production portion of the project. So after some rudimentary sketches and deciding on some measurements that made sense, I decided on a building that in real life would be about 250 feet by 140 feet lengthwise. And so when you put that at an eighth scale, it's roughly about 2.5 feet by 1.5 feet. The model's pretty sizable, even though it's a mini and it's at 1/8 scale, which is very small for models. The building inspiration is just so massive that on a small scale, it's still quite large. So I went into the AutoCAD drafting process after I came up with some rudimentary sketches. These took me about 45 hours. I think I want to say I did it over about a week and a half, 2.5 weeks. I know this doesn't show up well on camera, but essentially here you can see all of the windows, the siding, the boards, and then some detailed views into the drawing itself. This is this short front wall. This next one is this long wall where you can see all of the details like the piping up the side of the building, some of these structures that sit on the roof. I ended up not going with the fire escape just because of time restriction and budget. It can be models can get pretty expensive pretty quick. So yeah, after I completed all of this AutoCAD drafting, I sent it over to the producer and the director. They looked it over, they decided they were happy with the way it looked, and they were ready to release the budget. I was given $150 to buy materials and produce this model. So here are some in progress pictures when I moved into the making it / documentation phase of the project. This is the basic structure of what it looks like on the inside of this model. There is a back wall with a gap so that you can put lights inside the model. So this is what it looked like before the whole structure was together. I have some braces, some structural support. For this brick wall, I used foam board that I skinned. I peeled the paper off of it and I stamped it with these 1/4 scale Legos that I placed together to make a brick texture. And then I covered it all with stucco and painted. And after the painting phase and creating a floor and a ceiling, I moved on to all of the detail work, like these roof pieces, all of the siding. These are all toothpicks that I glued together and painted and aged. Some balsa wood strips that I again aged and placed together to look like the building was boarded up. On this opposite side, I have some decoupaged graffiti. I have some piping. And yeah, essentially after all of that, I went through several times with a diluted mix of water and acrylic paint to get this kind of grime texture. I made a mixture of coffee grounds, eyeshadow, and baking soda to kind of get this gritty dirt texture. And on the inside of all of these acrylic panels are tiny wooden window frames that were like flat wooden dowels that I cut and painted. You can see those a little bit better when the interior lights are on. So here's some completed photos. Obviously it's right here, but this is the full thing. I altered a big Hot Wheel to look like a decommissioned cop car. It was like a mob movie. So I thought that was interesting. I got these tiny cinder blocks on Etsy with Hot Wheel tires to add some little tiny details. Here's some more detail pictures. Some more. So essentially, like I said at the beginning of the presentation, this mini model was meant to be blown up at the end of a montage. However, the pyrotechnics understandably proved to be very tricky and very dangerous. So after months of going back and forth with the producer and the director, we decided that it probably wasn't safe, definitely wasn't safe. And the mini model ended up not being used for the short film. Obviously that's a little disappointing, but it's really great portfolio filler. It was a really great exercise for me to create a mini model on this scale. And I am better for making this, so I don't regret anything. I'm really happy with the way the model turned out, and I'm sure that it will benefit me in the future. There is a cat for scale, although it's right behind me. So yeah, that's it. Thank you so much.